Hey guys, welcome to tonight's live. Before I jump into the subject today, I actually need to apologize for yesterday because some people were offended by me calling people old. And for that, I need to apologize to some people. My mom, you're not old. My Uncle Mike, you're not old. Bill, you're not old. I was reminded that I'm not far from being old. So, my apologies. Anyone who was offended by me calling them old, or maybe it was a sensitive subject and you felt like I was calling you old. Now, I will tell you, I was talking about how my great aunt was 98 years old. But if I ask her, she probably will tell me she's not old. Before I jump in, just one quick story because I thought this was hilarious myself. I was interviewing one of my aunts and gave her a mic and I was asking her, I can't even remember what I was asking her, but she was telling me some story and she said to me, it was so funny. She was like, oh, maybe I think I asked her, I was like, oh, so what do you do to keep yourself busy? She's 85, okay? And she says, oh, I help the old lady down the street. And I'm thinking to myself, the old lady down the street, you're an old lady. And she was like, but the old lady down the street was like 95 years old. So, what I'm saying, because I feel like I'm getting myself back into trouble, what I'm trying to say, nobody is old, okay? My 85-year-old aunt clearly did not think she was old. My 98-year-old great aunt probably does not think she's old. And I know for sure my 93-year-old grandfather, who I couldn't even catch when I tried to call him, or whatever I try to call him, honestly, he's typically texting me back saying, I'm busy, I'll call you later. He's 93. He probably does not think he's old. Okay. So I apologize. You're not old. I'm just going to use the word experienced. Okay. If you are experienced, go back and look at my live from yesterday. But today we're talking about 529 plans and the updates that came along with it with the one big beautiful bill. And 529 plans are like these educational investment accounts that a lot of parents normally get for their children to save for college. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you are completely new here and you've never caught one of my lives, welcome. My name is Jennifer Drew. I am the founder and CEO of Hair CEO. We are a bookkeeping, advisory, and tax firm helping self-employed hair professionals and hair business owners run legitimate, profitable, and bankable businesses. And so this season, I am doing this 90-day challenge. We're officially on day 54, which is insane to me. How has it been 54 days? I feel like it was just, day two. But 90 days talking about different tax subjects and topics to help you with this filing season. And so today we're going to be talking about 529 plans. And like I mentioned, these are the plans, if you've ever heard of them, are like savings accounts that parents would start for their children to help pay for college because you can put money in it and it grows tax free. So the problem with these 529 plans is that they were typically before now were only for universities. And so the child had to go to a university, like a traditional 4-year college or university, in order to use the funds in this 529 plan. And if for some reason they didn't go to a university or some qualified institution, then the funds were just like kind of in there. But the one big beautiful bill that was passed July 4th, 2025, extended this 529 plan so that other educational programs can be utilized. And the reason they did that is because they realized that, not everyone goes to a 4-year university. There are people who go the vocational route, go the route of going to cosmetology school or barber school. And guess what? It still costs money. And so why not have the opportunity to contribute to your child's education than using some 529 plans, right? So let's talk about it. Some of the new ways that you can use this 529 plan is vocational programs like cosmetology school, barbering school. Maybe you want to go and be an esthetician, get into aesthetics. These are now programs that you can qualify for and have the tax free money that's been growing in these 529 plans be used for vocational programs. So that's one change. It can also now be used for professional credentials. So think about that master cosmetologist license or that master barber license. This is after you already have your barber license or your hairstylist license. If you want to go back and get that master certification, or maybe you want to get some specialized license in the hair industry, you can do this now using a 529 plan. The fees, the funds that have been put in there and have been growing tax free can now be used for professional credentials. Now, the last thing, or the next thing that you could use it for are continuing education. This is again huge because you know as well as I do, in the cosmetology, in the barbering field, a lot of states have continuing education credit requirements to keep your license updated for the state. And if not, you lapse, your license is no longer valid. Sometimes they don't even allow you to get a license, like your driver's license, if your license expires and you haven't dissolved it. Some states, you can't even like file your taxes. My internet was going out, so I froze a little bit. But so yeah, so continuing education can now be used with these 529 funds. So that's awesome. Another thing with the continuing education, so required fees. This could also include required books that you need for the classes, or even some exam fees, because sometimes these continuing education courses require exams. So I think this is all wonderful news. Now, few things to keep in mind, because I don't want you thinking, oh yeah, I do have a 529 plan that I have for my child, or maybe even like it's overfunded and you want to change the beneficiary to yourself to use it, might be an option. You want to make sure that you are talking to a licensed tax professional, though, to make sure that you can either change the beneficiary to yourself or make sure that you are able to use the funds for the education or continuing education or the vocational program that you are looking for. So some things that you want to keep in mind is that it must be recognized. Okay. This is not something that you can have your cousin Pookie, say, oh, tell them you got a school and I'm going to pay you. And, Pookie has a barbershop out of his basement and you're going to learn how to fade from Pookie. No, 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 no. That's not what we're doing here. Okay. You cannot pay Pookie to be, his apprentice. And then you say, I'm going to give you money from my 529 plan because Jennifer said, no, Jennifer didn't say that. Okay. Jennifer did not say that. Jennifer said, talk to a licensed tax professional. That's what Jennifer said. Jennifer said, make sure that you click the link in the description if any of this sounds like something you want to inquire about. That's what Jennifer said. Okay. Now, it has to be a recognized program. And typically, what that means is that it's listed with the Department of Labor. No, Department of Labor, Department of something. I don't know. I need to go check. But oh, wait a minute, where are my notes? Yes, Department of Labor. I was right. A lot of times that means it has to be listed with the Department of Labor, or it has to be 529 eligible. So that is a term that you're going to ask whenever you are looking at different programs for education. And that'll be a question that you ask, like, hey, are you guys 529 eligible? Can I use 529 funds for this program, this exam, this continuing education, whatever? You really want to make sure you're asking those questions. So, if this is you and you want some help, of course, I definitely recommend you talk to a licensed tax professional. It can be someone else, it can be me. I don't care who you go to. Just make sure you're not trying to do this by yourself, because this stuff gets complicated and you want to make sure that you're not doing anything wrong. So if you're in the hair industry or you self-employed, have a hair business, I invite you to use the link in the description where you can reach out to someone from my team. We would love to help you. We're working with a limited number of clients this filing season. And so we have until April 15th for you to file on time or to file an extension. And that's if you are just a business owner or someone who is working in the salon and getting a W-2. If you have an S Corp or you have a corporation or you have a partnership, your deadline is coming up very soon, March 15th. So make sure you reach out sooner than later. I would love to help you. And I will see you tomorrow when we dive into another tax topic. Until then, see you tomorrow.